Okay guys, we're going to do something a little bit different today. Instead of having you do the exercises on your own, I'm going to do a code along with you so that you have some experience typing in these new things where you're not coming up with it yourself. So as I type, I'm going to explain things to you a little bit more from lesson 3, and you are going to type the exact same thing that I type. And that way you have a set of notes, and you've had a little bit more, you hopefully get a little bit more understanding for some of the techniques that we use in lesson 3 before you do them on your own in the practice problems. So the first thing I did was I added a comment. And comments in Python, comments in any programming language, is a way for a programmer to add notes essentially onto their program that they can see, but the computer doesn't read as code. So it's a way for it tells the computer to kind of ignore that line. So I use a hashtag in Python. Different languages have different ways to start a comment, but in Python you use a hashtag. And that basically, that whole row, so line 1 will not be read as code by the computer, okay? So I'm gonna write a title of lesson 3, all right? Now the first thing I wanna show you from lesson 3 is I wanna show you escape characters. All right, so let's say that I want to do a quote. So let's say the quote is, and I have to put it in text. So I wanted to do, actually let's start with single quotes here so that I can use double quotes as part of the actual quote. So I want the double quotes to print out. So I have a set, let me do that one more time. I have a set of single quotes. So if I put a single quote and then I use a shift key and get the double quotes, the double quotes don't come as a pair for some reason right now. So I'm going to put the second one in and go in the center. Okay, and let's say what the Black Panther says. He says Wakanda forever, right? So right here, if I went and I tried to print this out, it's going to show me Wakanda forever with the double quotes showing, but the single quotes there, so everything inside of here is the string. So the single quote starts the string and it ends the string. So the single quote doesn't print out, but the double quote does. So let's add some more things in here. Let's say, let's print out not just Wakanda forever, but let's use concatenation to put a whole phrase together. So let's say, quote, as Black Panther says, and then a comma here. And let's put a space here. Let's end the double quotes here, put a plus sign, and let's bring in the word quote because that's gonna fill in Wakanda forever here. So as Black Panther says, Wakanda forever. And let me go back here and put a period so that it actually ends the sentence. Okay? And this way I've showed you, how to use escape characters. I can use a single quote to start and end a string and the double quote within that to actually print out. And I've also showed you concatenation. Okay, let me show you another, let's say quote, and I want to use a single, I want to start with a single. Let's say, let's get out of here. Okay, now the problem with this right here, so this word is called a conjunction, and it stands for let us get out of here. So I am going to, but what happens, you see this is all in red, the only string right now for the computer is this part right here. So if I hit run, it says that there's a problem here. So I don't want this to be read as the end of my string, I want that to be read as an apostrophe. In order to do that, I use the slash that's in front, that's above the return key. And that way, let me say quote 2. That way, if I print out quote 2, it will give me the whole thing with the apostrophe there. So that's the other escape character. Okay? Now, the next thing let's put that up there. The next thing I want to show you is I want to show you upper method to make things uppercase. All right, so the upper method can be called on a string itself. So you could say print hello world. Okay, you could go And then after the end of that, that string, you want to go dot upper, open and close parentheses like that. And this is going to call the dot upper method on this string hello world. Okay? Now, and actually let me print a new line. So let me go print quote there, and that way it just kind of separates. Okay, so I can call it directly on a string, or I can save the string into a variable and I can call it on the variable. So let's say first programmer is equal to, her name was Ada, oh, let me put quotes around it, Ada Lovelace. Okay. And then I can say print first programmer and I could go a dot upper this way, open and close parentheses. Okay. So that will print out, so this is the name of my variable, and it will print that out in uppercase. And notice I don't have to put quotes around that because it's not I don't want the word first programmer to print out. I want what's stored in that variable. And when you don't put quotes on it, it tells the computer to look for a variable that's called first programmer, and then to pass it back the value that's stored in that. Okay, now let's try the lower method. So let's go hashtag lower. Okay, and I can just go back and say, let me copy this, Command C, let me paste it down here, and I can go dot lower, yeah, and hit run, and that gives me Ada Lovelace in all lower letters. Let me print a new line here. Like that, okay. So I can call it directly, or again, I could print it in my favorite color is army green, and I can go dot lower outside of the parentheses, outside of the quotation marks, and that will put everything in lowercase that way. And finally, the title case. So I can say print Black Panther, and then dot title, open and close parentheses, and it will uppercase the B and the P for that. And let me copy this and paste it here to get a new line. Or I can go back and say print first programmer. For some reason mine is not autofilling. Whoops, programmer. I'm missing something, I'm missing an M. Oh God. First programmer dot title. Okay, and that gives me Ada Lovelace's name with a capital A and a capital L. All right, so different ways that you can format that text right there. Concatenation we showed before, but let's just show it one more time. Concatenation. So that's where you take two variables that are stored together and you want to print them out. You want to print two pieces of text next to each other. So let's say favorite underscore color equals quote army green. Second fave color is equal to, I don't know, neon pink, let's say. Oops, fave, I meant to say fave. And let's print a statement. So we could say print favorite underscore color plus second underscore fave underscore color. Oh, actually, before I do that, I want to say, let me say a statement here. So I want to say, my two favorite colors are, let me end this quote, okay, and let me go, let me add these two together. So I should say my two favorite colors are army green, and you know what, I need to use an and symbol between it, or the word and. Are army green, so let's say this, my two favorite colors are army green, I'm going to go plus, quote, the word and I have to do another plus over here, and it should say neon pink. Okay, now you see there's a little bit of problem here. The R army green and neon pink don't have any spaces. So you could add a space with a quotation mark, or you can just kind of put some spaces before and after certain words, and that will get you where you need to go. Okay? To add a period, it's a little annoying. You have to go plus, in quotation marks, period right here. Okay, now that brings us to our last one, which is the string formatting. Now, there's a less annoying way to do that sentence. So you can say, so I'll say print. By the way, you can also store it in a variable. So let's try that real quick. Statement, oops, equals, okay, now I'm going to start a statement, and I'm just going to type it out in regular English, but instead of using favorite color and second favorite color, I'm going to use like blank spots, essentially. So I'll say, my favorite colors are blank. All right, so those are curly braces for the first blank, and blank, period. It's a lot easier because you can put the spacing in. Now I'm going to go, after the quotation marks, I'm going to go dot format. Okay, now I'm going to fill in what I want there. So I want favorite color. And if yours are auto-filling, then allow it to autofill so you don't have to type everything in. So if you start typing something and you see like a list of suggestions, just press return, and that will fill in the rest of it so you don't have to keep doing it. I'm not sure why mine is not doing it, but it's probably in the preferences somewhere. Okay, so let's try this out. I need one more and, oh no, I don't. All right, now I need to print statement here in order to see it. So let's see what we got. My favorite colors are army green and neon pink. So again, I just typed the sentence as I wanted, and anytime I wanted to substitute in for a variable, I just used the curly braces to open and close, and then later on, after the text, after the string ended, I used the dot format method, and I added in favorite color here and second fave color here. Now, if I switch the order like this, you don't have to do this, but you can just watch this. If I took this here and I put second favorite color first, and I put this one second, and I ran it, then it would say neon pink first and then army green second. So if you switch the order here, then it replaces in the exact order in which you put it in the format, as the inputs to the format method. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some more understanding of how to use these methods, and you have some notes. And as we go on to the exercises, it'll be a little easier for you to start those exercises.